Hello and welcome back to Microsoft's Flight Simulator. Thank you very much for joining me in this video, and today we are going to be taking a look at a scenery pack for Echo Golf Bravo Echo Coventry Airport. Now this is a kind of scenery pack that is probably only going to appeal to very specific people, maybe people who like to fly general aviation, small airports. Unless you want to try and land a 737 there or a 757 there, I do know that it can take some of those aircraft. Or for people who maybe live in Coventry or the West Midlands or the East Midlands or around that area, or people who just like to have nice detailed airports in Microsoft Flight Simulator that are not your everyday, your large regional airports or international airports like Heathrow, Gatwick or Manchester, East Midlands, Birmingham, things like that. This particular airport has been created by, let's see, MT Scenery Design is what they go by, and this is actually something that he has been creating since November, so it has taken a while. Not yet released, but it is going to be payware. I believe it's going to be payware, and they're going to have it on their own sites. For now, they have a Facebook page, so I'm going to link that Facebook page in the description box for you to go poke around and see what they have. Now, having been to Coventry Airport myself to work with the simulator people there, I'm going to be able to see exactly whether or not this is accurate. Not that I'm doubting his accuracy, because I've seen the amount of work he's gone into to do this. So what we're going to do is we're going to, first of all, take a look at Coventry Airport and as it is in the sim without the pack, and then we're going to add the pack on and see the differences and just see what differences can we see and how much of a difference does it make. So make sure you stay tuned to see the first little scenery pack I have for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Okay, here we are. We are at Coventry Airport. So let's take a quick look around, although I think the rotation speed in this is a little bit too quick. So let's slow the rotation speed down. Let's increase the drone speed. That's better. There we go. Alright, so let's have a look around the airport. So I know this area. Cannot remember the name of this particular road. But I know the area, so let's have a look. Everything looks normal. So that's the airport's area. So we have the runway as you would expect. Nothing wrong there. So this is just default Microsoft Flight Sim. We've got a few car parks here. I do not remember seeing these car parks this many. I think there is some sort of lorry park here actually, because I think that if you go that way, you start heading towards Birmingham, and if you go this way, you're heading towards the M1 in that direction. So you can go to London or anything from there, and this way you're heading towards the M6. So Coventry is a place that you'd probably see a lot of freight and industry. Coventry used to also make a lot. They used to have a massive industrial heartland. They used to make Spitfires and all that over here, or parts for it anyway. So that's all nice. We've got some building work going on there. This is all airport perimeter, so we've got a fire engine pottering around for some reason. Okay, fine. A few buildings, an aircraft. I recognise the locations of the buildings. So this is one of the hangars for the Coventry Aero Club. This is where the simulators and everything are housed. Over here, this is supposed to be, I believe this is supposed to be an air museum, this area. So there's nothing really there that tells you about that. That's another hangar for another club, I believe. I've seen some larger jets parked around here for a couple of companies. I cannot remember the companies off the top of my head. Atlantic or something. And then we've got larger hangars and cargo areas over here. So this is standard Microsoft Flight Simulator. That's not bad. On this side, there used to be the international airport. Was it international? Yes, I do think it was international. And so you used to be able to, aircraft used to fly in and out of here. I cannot remember which lines flew in and out of here. Ryanair, maybe Thomson or Thomas Cook or someone like that. TUI, they used to fly in and out of this area. Somebody like that. Just small airlines or small to mid-sized airlines. Nothing large like British Airways or anything. So right now you've got these old, they look like hangars at the moment in Flight Simulator, and then we've got what looks to be an industrial estate of some sort, which is there. This industrial estate is there, or part of it is actually being built, not all of it is there. So they're starting demolishing all of these and turning it into warehouses, which in fact this does look like a warehouse. So that's what we have in standard Microsoft Flight Simulator. Runway all looks fine, taxiways all look fine, nothing really spectacular there. It just looks like an airport, a small airport. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to install the scenery, and we're going to have a look at what exactly it changes and whether it looks better or worse. So I'm just looking around once more around the area. Houses, buildings. Yep, okay, I'm going to install the scenery and I will be right back. Okay, here we are with the updated version, so let's have a look at what we can see. Well, first of all, the first thing that I can note is that there is a road here, an actual road, not just a photo ortho scenery. What do you call it? Photo, just one of those satellite photos. That is it, satellite photographs. Words, they fail me today. So we do have an actual road here. Another thing that I can notice is that along the airport perimeter we have road signs, we have the fencing. So over here we've got an actual accurate road sign, complete with graffiti. Maybe we shouldn't have the graffiti there, but that is an accurate road sign right there. Yep, that looks about right. And as I said, as I mentioned earlier about where the M6, the M1, etc. So you can see you can go towards the M1, you can go towards the M6, and you can go towards the M40. It wasn't the M6 that way, it was the M40 that way. I knew I got that wrong. The M6 is actually... So the M1 is in that direction. The M6 is not too far from here. It's just about there is the M6. And then you can, the M6 sort of goes around that side of Coventry. You can, why did I press 5? You can jump onto the M6 from the other side actually. So if you do follow this around, you can still get to the M6. So I wasn't completely incorrect. But anyway, let's have a look around to see what we have. So we've got some, those buildings look standard. These buildings here, all standard buildings. I'm just going to try and compare this now with what we had before. So here we go. Yep. So one of the first things that's been removed, there's no tarmac here now, it's gravel as it should be. There should be a fence here. There's no fencing along that, but this is all correct. Just the standard buildings there from Microsoft. Moving forward a little bit, these are now containers. This was rendered as a building, these are now rendered as accurate containers. There were houses there, houses are now gone as they should be. Again, these ones there's no tarmac along any of these, so that's really nice to see because these are all predominantly gravel. But I think all the buildings around this area are pretty much exactly what they should be, all the warehouse and everything. So that's absolutely fine. Now let's have a look inside the actual airport, and you can already see that there is a difference. So there's that building, that first building that I said where the hangar is, and you can see that there's a fenced off area as there should be. There's a balcony, there's accurate colours, windows. It actually looks like a hangar, not just doors, because I think on the original one it was just like a couple of I think it's just a couple of small doors. This is the actual hangar. This is what it should be like, and this is all 3D. And I really like the effort. I want to see what's inside. No, the aircraft are not inside, but this is very accurate. You've got the picnic tables. Normally an aircraft here, parked here. There should be 2 aircraft parked here as well. So they are not there. The taxiways have been redone. Certainly looks like the taxiways are redone because these markings, I do not believe these markings were this clear and it didn't start, this taxiway line didn't start over here. The aircraft that was parked here has gone. It would have been nice to maybe still see that particular aircraft. That would have been nice to see. But otherwise, the detailing on this is absolutely brilliant. You can just see, you can get really close to all of this and read what's around. That is really well. That is really well done, including the bins. The bins are correct, and the rocks. Yep, almost hits one of these. I think there was one at some point. Was it a rock, or was it just a hole? There's a massive pothole here. I went into it. So that looks fine. And also, as I said, there was an air museum. So if we have a look, previously we had this weird building just here. It just looked like a slightly weird shaped flat topped building. So this is Tudor Environmental. And then next to that, there's supposed to be some trees, containers. This was all just a tarmac area. So these trees, containers, and then you can see the air museum. And looking around, I believe the entire air museum may have not existed, or at least maybe the building existed, but it looked rather strange. And because it was all empty, so I thought that initially was the air museum. It isn't. The air museum's this building here, but that building didn't look anything like what the air museum would look like. Mind you, then again, nor did that building. So there we go. This is the air museum, and you can see that there's loads of different aircraft in there. The detailing in this is really nice. Midland Air Museum. There you go. You could probably end up reading. There you go. Sir Frank Whittle Jet Heritage Site. Open all year, and a telephone number. That looks great, and all these tiny little details all over the place. For example, these steps, the little transformer down there, the doors, this little awning, even this disabled parking access. That all these little fine details just show that this project that has been going on for about 5 months it really has paid off. It really does look great. This area is all battered. I think you can see that the council's probably going to make a new roundabout there and try and connect it. Why did I press 5 again and try and connect it up? And I have seen them doing some of that work. I have no idea how they're going to pull this off though, because the road is actually underneath, unless they're doing another overpass over the top of it, similar to that roundabout. I'm not entirely sure. But this all looks really nice. Overall, that is very accurate. In fact, if I go down to, let's go down to this level. Let's see if this looks how I think it's going to look. So if I stand, let's see, about there, that looks about right. Actually, would I stand out of this door? Yep, I'd stand out of this door. In fact, I'd probably have those balcony doors open, and that just looks real. Another thing that there is accurately placed here is the ILS right there. So that was missing in the standard Flight Simulator one. I'm assuming because they couldn't see it or something. I have no idea. I have no idea why. Looking at the scenery, it just looks black when you look down at the satellite images of that. So I'm not entirely sure why they've done that. Let's go continue having a look around the airport. So you can see all the fences are nicely done. The taxiways are different. I'm not sure about this particular taxiway. I didn't realise that this was actually taken down. Did not realise there was no taxiway there, but apparently there isn't anymore. So this is you still have the standard Microsoft Flight Simulator style here with the taxiway. So they still look like Microsoft Flight Simulator taxiways, but just it looks like there's just additional detailing on these, and I'm not entirely sure if these were there previously. And actually go around to have a look. I do not believe they were though. I think just the runway, and it was just this little, just a flat blob with the shadow, which looked like what it was supposed to be something. But that's all been redone. These are all quite different. The control tower is now accurate. Over there you've also got the radar dish. This is all accurate, and more importantly, there are aircraft everywhere, so it makes it look realistic. You've got the fire station here as well, and because of all of that realism really does help. So previously I think that there was just like a weird shaped building roughly in the shape of this. I will give it to Microsoft, it was roughly in the shape, but it didn't look like anything. It just looked like a building. They weren't sure what to make of it, so this is all accurately done. This building here I think didn't exist. None of this existed, and even this photo scenery here, I think it was just gravel or something, so that didn't exist. One thing that I will say is that it looks like it goes up a slight hill here where maybe it shouldn't. So I'm not exactly sure what's happened there with the elevation data. I know that the person developing this, Morgan, did say that he had to do an update when the new update came out. So maybe that needs to be worked on. But again, this is a work in progress. It isn't complete just yet. There are things still going on. But you can see that for the most part, I would say this is maybe 90% completed, if not more. So you've got the fire station here, and in this area where it was just nothing, you've now got that populated, so it looks more like an actual airport and not just a bit of confusion, like why have we ended up here. All of this was this standard? I think this was all there previously, although I'm not sure that all these markings with the stops were there, but this area was certainly there. And the apron, you could see vague apron markings. There was an aircraft parked here, I think, not a truck. But then all of this area was empty, so now we have aircraft in this area. And then over in this area, there was also just these buildings were there, these hangar buildings, but there was nothing here in terms of, it just looked deserted. And now in this area, clearly you can see that there's a lot more going on. There's the Air Atlantic. I think I mentioned that there was Atlantic something. There's the Air Atlantic, and you can see the airbase. So this is the Air Atlantic hangar, and you've got West Atlantic over there. There's a lot of Atlantic in this. That's one, apparently Cessna. Fair enough. And you can see the detail that goes into even these hangars, which looks really nice. And all these containers, it does make it look a lot better and just far more alive. Though I do have to give it to Microsoft Flight Simulator with the standard. They got these hangars fairly decently done, so you could tell that there were 2 hangars here, you could tell that there were 3 hangars here, but this just looks far better. And I really appreciate the detailing. Microsoft Flight Simulator also did manage to get some of this right, not all of it, but certainly some of it, and it did a good job. But this is, again, just far more detail, far more in depth. It just works a lot better overall. And then here as well, we've got fuel tanks and things like that, so it just gives it that additional depth. And then over here, whatever this is, Aeros, another Aero Club, yet another Aero Club right over here. And then the housing, the standard houses from Microsoft Flight Simulator just there, and then some coaches parked over here, and that's the end of the airport. Now if we have a look at the airport itself, it isn't just that part that's changed. You can see that the runway has been redone. So previously, one of the easiest ways to tell on this is that the markers here for the touchdown zone were slightly different on the previous runway, and now they are more accurate. In addition to that, you can see that here you've got the old displaced threshold here, where it's now a blast pad. It used to be a displaced threshold temporarily, and you can still see the old markings from that, whereas on in the standard Flight Simulator one, you could not see those particular markings. So that has all been done really nicely, and it just gives it a little bit more depth as well. It looks like a well-worn, well-used runway over the years, which is very nice. Another thing to note is that we have windsocks, because I think previously, in fact, let me just double check on that. I think there were windsocks missing. Just going to double check. Might be wrong on that though. Oh no, there were windsocks there. It just, the windsocks look a bit different, that's all. Now over on this side, some of the buildings are the same and some of them are different. So you can see here that this entire taxiway, which used to once be, it looks like it used to be a runway 35. This one over here, that was a very short runway. This taxiway has got more accurate markings all the way up to its hold point. You can see that the tarmac area has been taken out in all of this in favour of a more accurate design. The car park looks like it has been reworked as well, so the cars have been moved. These buildings look, I'd say these buildings look the same. I believe that these buildings do look the same. It's just the removal of the tarmac texture in favour of this photograph and the satellite scenery, and the addition of better trees has helped here. Further up we've got some concrete style, which has been reworked. Again, the fence has been put in, and then we have this building. Now this building is, I have confirmed this when I saw it earlier, this building is a work in progress. It's just a placeholder, getting the right shapes and sizes before proper textures going, but this has replaced the other standard warehouse building, and I do wonder if these buildings are also going to be replaced one at a time. And I'd say that that is all that's left to do. But overall, this really fits in nicely, and it just shows the level of detail that can be put into Microsoft's Flight Simulator. This just looks fantastic, and if you are somebody who maybe flies in and out of this area or wants to experience a very realistic scenery, then this is one for you. So do go check out the Facebook page linked in the description box to have some updates about this and see when it is going to come out and how much it's going to cost. But this is a really well done bit of kit. It does work fantastically well, and I would like to see other places like this. For example, I've been here, so this is nice to see. It looks very realistic. It's fantastic to see it like this. I'd like to see Cranfield, another place I've been, Cranfield University, that aerodrome in Bedfordshire. I would like to see that with this kind of quality as well, because these are the sort of airports that would be missed out by large names like Orbex or Aerosoft or anybody who makes airports like that. These kind of airports, these smaller ones, would be missed out. This now looks fantastic. If we had Cranfield, I could fly from here to Cranfield. Farnborough, that's maybe more possible for a larger company to do it because it is a famous airport. But even if that's not done, having something like Farnborough like this, or other local airports, smaller ones, that would be really nice to see. Or maybe in your own country, if you have some in your own country, leave a comment in the description box. No, a comment in the comments box and post one of them. Let me know what kind of airports do you have nearby that maybe you used to fly out of, or you learnt to fly from, or you visited, or anything like that. That would be rather interesting to know. Maybe go bug Morgan on his Facebook page. Once he's done this, maybe he'll have an entire career doing things like this. You never know, because if the quality is like this, I think that there is a strong future for empty scenery designs. You didn't think that one through? Empty scenery designs. because this is nothing, this is everything but empty. This looks full of life, and it really does show that a small changes, I'd say small changes, I was going to say in the context of the entire world, this is a very, very small change. But for somebody who lives here, or for somebody who knows this area, this is a big change, and it's a very, very important one for them. So that is where I'm going to leave this particular video, but I am thoroughly impressed with what I can see here. Any comments maybe before I end? Criticisms? I would say obviously that's a work in progress, still needs to be done. The weird elevation change just there maybe needs to be taken a look at, and I would very much like, if it was possible, to get this, because you're going to fly in over here, it would be really awesome if you could accurately do just this junction. Because if you're flying in and landing here, that having that junction correct would look brilliant, particularly at night. I mean, if I know that there's LED lights there, so if I were to fast forward time, yes, you can see what kind of, you can see the kind of effort he's put just here. You can see those lights, and I would like to see those, just that additional bit of accuracy just here, just in this area as you're flying over. I think that would look brilliant, and you can see that the lights, everything lights up nicely on the runway as well. I mean, this is very, very well done. Let's go back a little bit. There we go. So that is the only, that isn't even really a criticism, because it's outside of the airport boundary. The only one really then is that little elevation change over there. But aside from that, this is brilliant. And I'm going to end it there. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to hit the like button if you like this video. Subscribe to the channel for more videos on Microsoft Flight Simulator. Leave a comment in the comments box below. Let me know what you think. This is Morgan's first attempt, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, Morgan, but I believe this is his first attempt at scenery, and he has absolutely done wonders with this. This is a phenomenal job. Leave a comment, as I said, letting me know what you think of this, and maybe what airports you would like to see. Smaller airports, perhaps in the UK, perhaps in your own countries, wherever you're watching this around the world, because that would be interesting to know. If you can do so, do consider supporting me on Patreon at www.patreon.com/ecgadget. Your support would be massively appreciated. It would really help me out. And also, you can find me on social media at ecgadgetlp for both Twitter and Instagram. That is all from me, and I will see you next time in Microsoft's Flight Simulator, where I've heard that there's a freeware aircraft. I kind of am interested in checking that out. And also, I think I've just got distracted by Warwick Castle? Hang on a minute. I think I've just been distracted by Warwick Castle. Nope, that's just horrible. That's not Warwick Castle. Unless that is Warwick Castle in a very basic sense until we get closer. It just looks like Warwick Castle from here. I know Warwick isn't far. I'm sure it's out there. Could be out there. So I'm getting distracted now. There's Warwick Castle. Is that Warwick Castle? That's Warwick Castle. Right over there. There we go. Something else that was updated in World Update 3. Anyway, that is all from me, as I said, and I will see you next time in Microsoft's Flight Simulator, where, as I said, I've heard there's a freeway helicopter available. That might be worth a try, although historically I have not had much luck flying helicopters. So that is either going to be a good review, or I won't do it, or it's going to turn out to be a disaster. I'll see you then.